On the 4th of July 2022, PunchNG.com dropped an article titled My Music, Afrofusion, Not Afrobeats. It all started with an interview with Burna-Boy on the American show $1 Million Worth of Game, where he dropped this gem.
You say, no, I'm Afrofusion.
He went off on how people keep mixing up all African music as Afrobeats and he sings Afrofusion. But that term Afrofusion caught a lot of people's attention, and now we also want to know if Burna-Boy invented a new genre. Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Afro Groove Chronicles, a 6-part series. In this episode, we are going to be clarifying the difference between Afrobeat and AfroBeats. Afrobeats with an S is a collective term used to characterize popular music originating from West Africa. This genre initially emerged in Nigeria, Ghana, and the UK during the 2000s and 2010s. It's not exactly a single musical style, more like a mishmash of sounds and vibes that comes from Nigeria and Ghana. Think of it as a big musical buffet that includes hip life, juju music, high life, Naija beats, and a whole bunch of other music, all bundled up under the Afrobeats banner. Fast forward to the late 2010s and bam, Afrobeat is blowing up big time. Artists like Wizkid, Burna-Boy and Davido are making waves not just in Africa, but all over Europe and North America. It's like they are exporting African culture and music to the world, and Afrobeat is becoming a massive deal on the global stage. Then on the other hand is AfroBeat. Let's get this straight, folks. It's AfroBeat, no S at the end. If you want to low down on AfroBeat, check out our last episode, but for now, remember it's not Afrobeats. So Afrobeat, the OG sound, was cooked up back in the 60s and 70s. It took flavors from Fuji music, high life, American jazz, and funk, creating this super unique vibe. Afrobeat is all about big bands, killer instrumental solos, and rhythms that could make your head spin. And shout out to Fela and Tony Allen, the masterminds behind Afrobeat. They laid the groundwork of this musical revolution. Now here's the deal. Afrobeats might have been the first kid on the block and definitely influenced Afrobeats, but they are not the same. Afrobeats with an S is the big catch-all term for West African pop music, so it can be helpful to know the difference. Alright, let's break down Burna-Boy's claim and the whole Afrofusion versus Afrobeats debate. So Burna-Boy says,
I could identify myself with. So I just said, you know what? I'll call it Afrofusion because it's a fusion of everything, really, and Afrobeat, the Afro-Africanness.
Now, here's the kicker. Some folks argue that it's basically describing Afrobeats and slapping a new label on it. He even goes on to drop the Whitney Houston analogy, saying
Houston was a rapper because rap is the most popping.
Yeah.
Fair point, right? But hold up, music genres are like categories that help us make sense of music. You don't need a PhD in music to spot when two songs sound alike and belong to the same genre, even if they are from different places or use different languages. Take Nigeria for example. We've got Yoruba's Akpala, Juju music, High Life, and the Hausa's Nanaye, all from the same country, but no one's gonna mix them up, right? Language might change, but the genre is clear. Now, don't get it twisted. Genres can overlap, and that's cool. So when we call Burna-Boy's music Afrobeat, we are saying it's blending in elements from similar genres that fall under the Afrobeats umbrella. Are you following me so far? Alright, let's switch to devil's advocate mode and see what Burna-Boy's deal is. I kinda see where he's coming from, you know? He's basically saying his music is one of a kind and shouldn't be tossed in the same bucket as all the other stuff that claims to be Afrobeats. Plus, maybe he's trying to drop some knowledge bombs on folks who don't know much about the diverse music flavors in Africa. But if you ask me, his idea of Afrofusion sounds a whole lot like the good old definition of Afrobeats.